Welcome, everybody. My name is Alexis Cohen, and I'm the host of Earth Mama Magic. Unleash your feminine power, birth your creative vision, and transform the world. So we're going to be together over the next couple weeks, and the series is a container, a safe space for us to explore our relationship to our creative power, and really tune into our creative process and what it takes to birth what's on the inside to the outside, bringing it earthside, while being a positive impact on the world. And today, to kick it off, we have Anaiya Sophia. And Anaiya Sophia is a mystic, an author, a teacher, a keeper of transmissions, and lives and breathes the wisdom of the divine feminine. And what is so stunning about Anaiya is that she is this bright and playful spirit, and she is honest and deep, and she beckons us to dance in our light while we travel into the mysteries of the unknown. And before we start our conversation, Anaiya is going to start us off with an opening ceremony or ritual. Hello, Anaiya.
Hey, Alexis. Nice to be here.
So happy to have you.
So, beloved listeners, viewers, I can never do this sort of thing with my eyes closed. So I'm going to be closing my eyes, and maybe you want to join me with the eyes closed as we really turn to the inside. And with this opening ceremony, let it be an absolute blessing to everybody who listens in. And let us go into the 5 realities together. And this might be something that you do every time you come to the call, because this is what brings you fiercely present. So the first reality is the physical body. And as I sit here with you, I am holding my knees. And I am bringing my awareness that underneath my hands is a skeleton, and blood, and hormones, and muscles, and the earth element congealing itself so much that it has become solid. My hands are continuing to go up my thighs, up to my belly, and absolutely drinking in the reality. I have been given form. I have 47 years worth of form in this skin, and I am nowhere near the end. And so I am giving great thanks to this body, all of its accidents, all of its courage, all of its leaps of faith, all of its athleticness at times, all of its beauty, and all of its ability to dance, dance, dance for the beloved. The second reality is our sexual body. And I'm placing my hands over my womb space now. And if I was a man, I'd have my hands in a very similar position over my hara or dantian. And beneath these hands, there is, even if we cannot feel it yet, there is a throb of passionate, creative presence. Life force spewing, pouring through the reproductive system, should it be freed to be its authentic self. And that energy may display itself as a innocent sensuality and pure approach towards sexual union, and the fullness of that expression, both light as Eve and dark as Lilith, or light as Yeshua and dark as Pan. And these dark aspects, Lilith and Pan, are not wrong or cruel or forbidden, but an expression of the archetype of wild shamanic power. So as I come into contact with that part of me, the HQ of gender intelligence, the throne, my queenly throne or my kingly throne, my seat of power. So as I sit here as a skeleton with blood and flesh, I'm also aware of this deep well of wisdom. I am woman, and I have chosen woman for a reason. May not know what that reason is, but I know I have chosen. My third reality is my sacred heart, and I'm placing my hands over my chest center now. And this is the love center. This is where that wave of love emerges out of the nothingness. Suddenly, it's making itself felt in the cavity of my chest. And that could be the kind of love I have when I look down and see my dog's face. Or the love I have for Pete when he reveals more of his vulnerability. Or it may be that gorgeous expression of agape, that worshipful, devotional love I have for the divine and myself. In those moments when I come face to face with my soul. And I'm happy, more than happy, to experience the great waves of love, knowing that they're going to ache at the same time. I'm not afraid of being hurt. The fourth reality, bringing my hands to my head, is my psychological body, my character, my personality, my archetypes, the light and dark aspects of mind. So the beautiful, abstract, Gnostic, thought, deep, gnosis, the oracle, the wisdom keeper, all of those exquisite qualities of mind, and the confused day-to-day, forgetful, doubtful, distrusting, the whole of the mind, and my psychological profile, loved and adorned and welcomed into this process. Thankful for this ability, not only to have mind, but to have this journey that we're on to understand it. And then finally, just raising my hands up above my head, as if expecting to receive a great giant ball. My spiritual body, the glorious, limitless pool of love that is my soul, my luminescence, my essence, my innocence. And the fiery codes of golden data that's in the spirit body, slightly different quality. One of them is initiatory and catalyzing, that's the spirit. And the other, deep, tender, compassionate, and merciful, the soul. So as we bring our hands down into our laps, let us breathe with those 5 realities. Absolutely here, absolutely present, fiercely alive and available to utterly absorb not only this call, but our journey together. As we put our hands towards the screen, we're blessing Alexis, who is birthing our time together, and blessing each and every one of us that sits in, receives, and responds. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. What keeps coming to me is, oh, to be woman, oh, to be woman. Thank you. So, Anaiya, as you were leading us through this process, a few things kind of stuck out to me that I would love to just go into a little bit more deeply. You when we were going into when you were talking about the darker aspects of ourselves and this wild shamanic energy, can you speak a little bit to that, for especially for those who maybe aren't familiar with what that is?
Well, I must say, I've always known I've had this part. We all know we have this part, but I have been exceptionally aware of it. And I used to say it was because of my Irish heritage. I have an Irish father. So it's very quick for me to go from 0 to 10 in 3 seconds. But with this great initiation that we call menopause, there is this coming into this energy more often and more frequently. And as you know, I'm a great fan of Andrew Harvey, and he's been calling it sacred outrage. And he's absolutely right. There is a wild, unchained version of ourselves that is absolutely right to express its full expression in times like this of an injustice, of something being cruel and wicked to another, to an innocent one, to an animal, that there is this, it could be a sound, it's a response, and it dwells in the darker or seemingly darker aspects of our character. And that is why we have been trying to avoid it, men and women, because it's been so forbidden, so condemned, so wronged. But should you give yourself permission to access it on behalf of something that you know is the right time to express, then I can assure you what is going to come through you is an absolute and authentic, in the moment, truthful response. And I can see that this has been it's been all over Facebook in these last 24 hours since the Me Too campaign.
Yes, I've been seeing that. So it's this collective voice of women stepping forward, using their voices. And yeah, I mean, it is rooted in this place. A great teacher of mine always taught me that when you are feeling anger, it's actually a signpost that your boundaries have been crossed. So it's so important to listen to what the anger is communicating to you. So, in terms of, making that connection between feminine power and this, this uprising of a lot of fire, how do we navigate this when this does start rising up within us?
If you are able to, there will be a graceful moment where you can channel this deep energy through the heart before it comes out through the voice. And if you can see, oh my God, my own personal reservoir of anger is woven into this. I cannot tell what is true and needs to be said, and I cannot tell what is my own personal resource of my own anger. Then what you could do is just pray. Pray to one of the dark ones. So that could be Mother Mary. Sorry, that could be the Black Madonna. That could be Kali. So Athena, some kind of goddess of the darker elements of life, and just simply say, take from me my personal anger, my personal rage, and leave behind only what needs to be spoken, only what must be said in response to this circumstance. And I have absolutely experienced that directly to be a deep resource in those moments.
That's so interesting that this is the topic that's coming up in our first interview of the series, because what's kind of at the root of this series and the one that I did before where Andrew Harvey was a guest is this idea of sacred activism and what that really is. And from what I understand, and what I do think women are geniuses of is this sacred activism. It's change stemming from love, right? And so what I'm hearing you say, and I think it's called Earth Mama Magic. It's this alchemizing of the anger into love, right? It's being able to move through that energy of anger and really direct into love and source change from this place of love.
Yeah. Yes. And my great learning has been to be that sacred outrage in close vicinity to seemingly powerful male authoritative figures. Now that has been the usual trigger for me to back down or to minimize or soften the blow in some way. That's been my life's work. But recently in these last years, and I do absolutely bless the magic that is menopause, that simply doesn't put me off anymore. Even, huge authoritative governmental police figures, that doesn't put me off anymore. And so there will be a trigger, there will be a condition. Some of us might be afraid of other women. That's our moments when we back down and play small. It could be family members, could be your partner, could be your children. There'll be something, some conditioned response that we've learned that brings us back into some kind of watered down version of ourselves. But as this energy starts to arise, it will be precisely those ones that we will be called into duty to respond in this true way.
So when we are being triggered in this way, because it's that dance, right? Like you're in your power, and then something maybe even subconsciously brings us, we go small again or we hide. What can we do, or how can we, one, recognize when we're being triggered, and two, what can we do when we are being triggered in this way?
The only way I can answer is to say what I do. My big sacred justice piece is the animal kingdom. And so if I feel that I'm minimizing, I'm playing small and I'm becoming shy and I'm not saying what I really truly feel, I just throw up a few pictures in my own mind of what I have seen in the name of cruelty to animals. And that gives me something. That immediately brings my backbone back into the mix, and I immediately start coming forward again. And also, I would say, make yourselves familiar, beloved listeners, of everything that is happening. I know it's very difficult to know what is true and what is not true when it comes to the media, but be informed. Have passionate subjects available at your fingertips should you need to be called into this expression. because it seems very much to me that, I know we've been saying this for years, but I'm going to say it anyway, we're running out of time, especially for this level of expression. It absolutely needs to come through us. I don't know what it means, should it come through us. I just know it has to. Are we saving our own souls? I don't know. Are we working collectively? I don't know. Is this something for the planet? No idea. All I know is it must happen. We must find ways of being this.
I think you're speaking to something so important, something I can really relate to, is that there's this sense of, there is a sense of urgency, and it's, again, I think it's moving back to that shifting out of urgency from fear to what we're talking about, urgency out of love, and that it's okay that we don't know. And I think that this is what I love about you, and I love speaking to you about, is the unknown. Because people are so, collectively, usually folks are scared of the unknown. Yes. And it feels like there is this unknown. It's like this, the unknown around birth, death, something is coming through us collectively. And it's a death and birth, it always is, right? Yes. So when we're approaching this unknown, can you please speak to us about how to navigate the unknown?
Well, I've been getting a lot of practice in by living here in the south of France and spending time in caves. So when you go to a cave, you enter the mouth of the cave and all is well because you've got loads of beautiful sunlight pouring in. And then inevitably you'll always find something called a creep hole at the back, big enough for your body. And it often leads to a whole complex of tunnels. And these tunnels are in the pitch blackness. There is no light. So off you go with your little head torch. All is well, adrenaline's pumping, you're having an adventure. But then you find the place where you're happy to sit or lie for a while, and you flip that torch off.
Wow.
And then, beloved, you are so in the unknown, and it's not your imagination, because you put your hand to your face and you cannot see anything. And that little pineal gland starts working away after about 20 minutes because it thinks you're going to sleep. So it starts to produce melatonin, copious amounts of melatonin, and all sorts of chemistry starts happening. So myself and Pete and many who hang out with us are having that closer than your breath experience of the unknown. So when we have to imagine the unknown, it's nowhere near as bad because we really know what unknown is. And there could be scorpions in there, there could be snakes in there, there could be all sorts, there could be a bear in there. I mean, there's none of those things in the south of France. But that is what the mind throws out. And so I would say, seek out those palpable, tangible circumstances where you are in the unknown. And so when the imaginative version comes, you're not afraid of it. You're not afraid of it because you know you're being held by the invisible hand. You trust the unknown. You might not know what it is, but there's an exchange. There's a little figure of 8 between you and it. And you feel it flowing, and you feel the response, and you trust it.
I love what you're speaking to here, because how I'm hearing this is really move towards what makes you afraid, like that practice, really conditioning yourself in that way. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. We're so adaptable. It's like we do meet something that's like really scares us, and then we do it, and then we get used to it. And like, oh yeah, well, we did that thing. We already met what makes us afraid. But like,
Yes.
no, you have to keep going, really keep challenging yourself.
Yes.
So that's a really great question. I know I need to ask myself these days, what really does scare me? What do I need to meet within myself? What really does scare me? And I have been to a cave like that, and that was that was very intense. I didn't do it again.
Yes.
It's a good reminder to move towards what
Yes.
makes you afraid.
And I never put myself in full danger. So, for instance, Pete is at the mouth of the cave. We have walkie-talkies. So I'm not saying be negligent. Make all of this an act of true and genuine self-love. So you're not, hurtling yourself into a really edgy circumstance. That is a life or death moment. It's not. Sitting in the blackness is not a life or death moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, think about your initiation, because this is what it is. This is a self-initiation.
Mm-hmm. And
And you could be a little bit naughty and give your friend the head torch, but there's no batteries in there. You're on the walkie-talkie.
yeah, you're being held in this initiation. And can you share with the audience, what an initiation is, or a rite of passage, and why that's so important right now on the planet?
Gosh, absolutely. To me, these are the only things worth doing right now. This is my form of entertainment and socializing. So an initiation is a giant, authentic leap of faith that absolutely demands growth and depth and maturity, and that word gnosis again, direct, undeniable contact with a force, a benevolent force that is greater than you. And this is what I feel, this is what many, many, many of us feel have been missing in our beautiful, comfortable Western lifestyles. We've forgotten, or rather did away with, initiatory rites. And of course, now we're kind of suffering the absence of those rites of passage. So, tribal people, and I know a lot of us, we're all doing this now. We're creating these initiations, these safe but genuine initiations that will challenge you to the very core of your being. They're meant to. If they don't take you to that place, it's not an initiation. Initiation will make you think you're going to die, you're going to pass out, you can't breathe, you're going to drown. It's going to be something of an enormous experience. So the ancient Egyptians, they had 3-day initiations. The Babylonians, the Atlanteans, all the great civilizations knew about initiation and its essential nature to create priests and priestesses. And this is what we're crying out for now. But of course, us Westerners, we can get an idea, oh, I know how to initiate. And of course, we create these initiatory rites, and oops, something goes wrong. Because, it's like we're kids and we're putting our hands into a box of fireworks, and the big rocket goes off because we don't know how to handle the rocket. And so if you are going to place yourself in the hands of someone who says, I can initiate you, check them out once, twice, 2, 3 times. Check them out deeply. Or self-initiate. But you will have to go to the edge of your being, and take a new and unknown step.
Yeah, and I love how you're speaking to this, and this is part of why, the tagline is birth your creative vision, because, when we're creating something bigger than ourselves, or how we're speaking to women right now, right, to step forward in this bigger way, this is a rite of passage, right? You're going to have to, it's safe, but it's these kind of paper tigers that, we're not going to be safe if we're more visible with our work. We speak more loud, we're more loud. We're really using our voices,
Yes.
so it's working, working with someone, working in a safe container, to help take that leap of faith.
Yes. This is what is necessary now. And as we heal, see, with an initiation, the most powerful initiations are the ones in groups, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And as we genuinely heal this sisterhood, truly and deeply, the sisterhood becomes the grail, this almighty grail that's going to be the crucible of transformation. And you love your sisters, you trust your sisters, you'll put your blindfold on and you'll lean back into their outreached arms. You know they're going to catch you. So when we have that level of not only spiritual but emotional support, then the growth is uncharted. And of course, whenever there's a group of ladies around, you have a very creative energy, highly potent, highly creative. But until we start really loving and really trusting, we won't be able to get our little mitts on that level of energy yet.
Yeah. Yes, when women come together, we create magic. And I'm so happy to have you here and the wonderful group of women speakers in this interview series, because this is what we're doing together. We're creating something. We're creating this portal together.
Yes.
And so, Anaiya, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
The only thing I would say is be informed, beloved ladies. Look in and also look out. Be informed. No ostriches, no heads in the sand. Be informed. Receive your information. Take it into the womb and heart space. And then come out with a contribution in response to what you have learnt about the world.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anaiya. Thank you so much for being here and for opening up our time together.
Oh, thank you, Alexis. Huge blessings to each and every single one of you.
Yes.
May this summit be utterly blessed and far-reaching.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. And please check out the rest of the series. We've got some incredible guests and some incredible wisdom. All right. See you later. Bye.